The Maryland Department of Health, Developmental Disabilities Administration, Self-Directed Services Training Series, Module 3, Person-Centered Planning, updated October 2024. This training module will provide you with an overview of person-centered planning in the self-directed services model. This training is a summary of important information on this topic. There is more information and requirements in the Medicaid waiver program applications, laws, regulations, guidance, and policies. This version of the training was updated in October 2024. The most updated information regarding self-directed services is published in the Self-Directed Services Policy and Manual that can be found on the DDA's website. Additional training are available that provide additional information on the topics presented in this overview training module. The DDA also has a dedicated person-centered planning website that includes additional information, including guidance, forms and tools, resources, and webinars. A link to this site and additional resources are provided at the end of this training. Everyone has the right to live, learn, love, work, play, and follow their hopes and dreams, and reach their goals in their community. People with developmental disabilities have the right to make choices about their lives and the support they get. Participants are always at the center of planning and creating a life that is meaningful to them. The Developmental Disabilities Administration, or DDA, helps individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities get the right services to help them be part of their communities. These services can be accessed through the DDA-operated Medicaid waiver programs. People who get help from the DDA also get support from their families, community groups, and other local, state, and federal programs. This is done through the process of person-centered planning. At any stage of life, it is a good idea for people to think about their vision for a good life. Before discussing services and supports, the first and most important part of planning is getting to know the person. Who are they? What do they want for their life, and what don't they want? What is their vision for their good life? Teams need to know and understand what hopes and goals the participant has in order to assist them with planning and helping them to achieve their self-defined good life. Before discussing Medicaid waiver services and other supports, it is essential to understand the person's path so that planning can then begin on the steps to lead to achieving the participant's goals. Knowing the person and their strengths, assets, needs, goals, and challenges allows the team to discuss, plan, and identify different resources, supports, and services, including natural, community, local, and Medicaid waiver services to positively support them. Person-centered planning is an ongoing process of listening and learning to create a person-centered plan that may be adjusted according to life circumstances. This is done through exploration and discovery. There are several person-centered planning tools that participants and their teams can use. This presentation will discuss a few of these tools, which include the Focus Area Exploration, the Health Risk Screening Tool, and the Supports Intensity Scale. Focus Area Exploration are tools within the LTSS Maryland DDA Person-Centered Planning module. There are several life focus areas that participants and their teams can use, including employment, communications, lifelong learning, community involvement, day-to-day life, finance, home and housing, health and wellness, and relationships. In each focus area, the participant and team can review what's working for the participant and what's not working for the participant, Identify supports needed, including natural, community, and Medicaid waiver funding services. Identify what is important to the participant and what is important for the participant, and identify risk and how they will be addressed. Important to means something that the participant wants, such as choices in everyday life. These are things in life that are valued by the participant and make them happy. Important for means something that benefits the participant to reach their goals. This could include needs that should be addressed to support a participant's health and safety and actions needed to achieve their important to items. The team should review and complete all focus area explorations, particularly when there are revisions being made to the participant services. The focus area explorations provide a good overview of current supports. The Health Risk Screening Tool, or HRST, is used to identify healthcare needs and risks. The Health Risk Screening Tool assigns scores to 22 health and behavioral rated items. The total scores result in a healthcare level with an assessment of health risk. Healthcare levels can range from 1 through 6, with level 1 being the lowest risk for health concerns and level 6 being the highest risk for health concerns. It is important to understand that the Health Risk Screening Tool measures health risk, not disability. A health risk screening tool can help inform teams of health risk and should be considered during planning and provides recommended staff training. The health risk screening tool is completed on an annual basis, or can be completed more frequently when a participant experiences changes in their health. This slide includes a link to the DDA's webpage that shows the health risk screening tool. The Supports Intensity Scale measures the participant's support needs in personal, work, and social activities to identify and describe the types and intensity of the supports a person may require. It can help provide information and considerations during the person-centered planning process for the participant and their team. This slide includes a link to the DDA's webpage that shows the Supports Intensity Scale. Person-centered planning is a way for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities receiving services under the DDA-operated Medicaid waiver programs to take charge of their lives. A person-centered plan is a written plan directed by the participant that they develop together with their team. A participant's team includes their coordinator of community services and other people they've chosen to support them. Their team can also include a support broker if the person is self-directing their services. A coordinator of community services helps the participant and their team to create the person-centered plan. The coordinator of community services is also responsible for submitting the person-centered plan in LTSS Maryland. The person-centered plan always includes the participant's vision for their good life based on what is important to and for them. The service delivery model the participant chooses. These are the self-directed services model and the traditional model. Supports and services the participant needs that are not a part of the DDA-operated Medicaid waiver program. Examples of these might include support provided by friends, family, and coworkers, often known as informal or natural supports, and other state and local programs in the participant's community. Assessment tools and information to show unmet needs, and identified risks and right restrictions. It is important to note that all Medicaid waiver services must be based on assessed need. The person-centered plan always includes requested Medicaid services to meet unmet needs, the service providers, employees, and vendors the participant chooses, and a description of how often the participant plans to use these services. To support a community life versus a service life, the person-centered planning team should always explore generic, natural, community, local, and other resources to support the participant in addressing any risks and in meeting their needs and goals. Generic supports refer to support and assistance available to any member of the community, which are not specific to meeting specialized needs of individuals with intellectual or developmental disabilities. Natural supports refer to support and assistance that come from relationships in a natural environments, such as family, school, work, and community. The Charting the Life course Integrated STAR is a useful tool for participants, families, and teams to consider a wide range of integrated supports to achieve the person's good life. This tool is helpful to get a closer look at the services and supports that may exist in a person's life, not just the supports a person receives from a Medicaid waiver program. A link to this tool is available in the resource section at the end of this training. After looking for generic, natural, community, local, and other resources, the person-centered planning team should determine if any remaining unmet need can only be met with a Medicaid service. There are three types of person-centered plans. The initial person-centered plan is the first person-centered plan developed with a participant once they are approved for a Medicaid waiver service, and the type of plan used when a waiver participant is already enrolled in a Medicaid waiver program and is applying for a different one. Annual person-centered plans are created each year after the initial person-centered plan. Annual plans are required for all Medicaid waiver participants. Annual plans are completed within a year of the agreed-upon person-centered plan date. The annual plan date is chosen once by the participant and remains the same each year. The revised person-centered plan is a plan developed when an active person-centered plan requires changes. These changes reflect a change in the participant's assessed needs or goals. Reasons for a revised person-centered plan may include stopping existing services, starting new services, changing existing services, or adding new outcomes or goals. Revised person-centered plans also require an updated self-directed services budget sheet. This slide shows the person-centered plan development process. It walks you through the person-centered plan development and approval steps that happen each year. This process includes ongoing support from the Coordinator of Community Services. After the participant and their Coordinator of Community Services complete pre-planning, they will develop the person-centered plan. Please remember that person-centered planning is an ongoing process of listening and learning. Person-centered planning creates a meaningful service and support plan that can be changed as needed. The initial plan is developed as part of the participant's Medicaid waiver program application. The participant's person-centered plan date remains the same from each year to year, even if the participant makes changes to their plan. This is called the annual plan date. The annual plan review begins 90 days before the annual plan date. The Coordinator of Community Services will start or update assessment tools, start or update the person-centered plan through conversations with the participant and their team, and explore person-centered plan development for the year ahead by discussing what the participant wants to achieve and what resources are available. Please remember that changes can be made at any time of the year through the revised person-centered plan. The pre-planning meeting is held between the participant and their Coordinator of Community Services, and can include members of the participant's team that the participant chooses. For initial person-centered plans, the pre-planning meeting is held within 30 to 60 days of the participant's eligibility determination. For annual person-centered renewals, the pre-planning meeting is held 90 days before the annual plan date. The pre-planning meeting includes learning about the two service delivery models, traditional and self-directed services. During the annual person-centered planning development process, The participant and members of their support team will discuss goals along with natural and community resources and supports. Based on the participants' assessed need, they also discuss waiver services for the coming year. No later than 20 days before the annual plan date, the Coordinator of Community Services submits the person-centered plan to the DDA for review and approval. When the DDA approves the person-centered plan, services and supports are authorized according to the person-centered plan. The person-centered planning process also includes quarterly check-ins. The Coordinator of Community Services will talk with the participant and team and observe how things are going. They will see if the participant is satisfied with the progress of their person-centered plan and if they want changes. They will also see if the participant is healthy and safe. When creating a person-centered plan, the Coordinator of Community Services will indicate the participant's requested service delivery model, whether self-directed or traditional, and the requested Medicaid services based on assessed unmet needs. This slide includes the list of all DDA-operated Medicaid waiver services, which a participant can self-direct. The services available are different depending on the DDA-operated Medicaid waiver program in which the participant is enrolled. Participants enrolled in the Family Supports Waiver can access certain support services, such as assistive technology and others. Participants enrolled in the Community Supports Waiver can access meaningful day and support services, such as employment services and others. Participants enrolled in the Community Pathways Waiver can access meaningful day, support services, and residential services. Meaningful day services are available to participants who are 18 years old or older and no longer in high school. These services provide opportunities to have support related to employment, develop skills and talents, and participate in community life. Residential services support participants to live in the community and not in a facility like a nursing home or an intermediate care facility for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. In Maryland, the Holly Center and the Potomac Center are examples of intermediate care facilities. Residential services that can be self-directed are supported living and shared living. Residential services that involve living in a group home, which are called community living services, are not available in the self-directed services model. Support services are services that support parts of life that are not supported within meaningful day or residential services. These services can provide access to assistive technology, opportunities to learn about, assess the need for, and develop positive behavioral support strategies, support for the participant's family or caregivers through training, mentoring, or respite, access to peer mentors, and access to personal supports to help participate in home and community life. The Medicaid waiver programs include details related to the type and amount of each service, service requirements, limitations, service model, and provider qualifications. Some services require a licensed or certified DDA provider, while some allow for a vendor or employee to provide the service. This slide includes links to the DDA Services webpage that provide more information about these services. Additional information regarding these services is available in the DDA's Guide to Services, federally approved Medicaid waiver program applications, and policies. It is critical that the Coordinator of Community Services, support brokers, and all team members understand all requirements and rules to support the participant. Medicaid waiver programs are renewed every 5 years and can be revised at any time. It is important to get information about the DDA's Medicaid waiver webpage for the current version. A link is included on this slide for your reference. The LTSS Maryland Person-Centered Plan includes a section referred to as the Detailed Service Authorization. The detailed service authorization lists the participant's requested and authorized waiver services, including the service name, units per month, and annual service cost. Once approved, participants will create the individualized self-directed services budget sheet. The self-directed services budget sheet includes wages, benefits, and rates that the participant chooses to pay their employees, vendors, and providers based on the DDA's established reasonable and customary standards. The self-directed services budget sheet must match the authorized services and total annual service cost listed in the detailed service authorization in order to be processed by the financial management and counseling services provider. More information regarding the self-directed services budget sheet and process is provided in the self-directed services training module titled the Self-Directed Services Budget. Under the self-directed services model, there are certain forms required to be submitted with the person-centered plan and when changes or updates are made. They include the Rights and Responsibilities form, the Participant Agreement, and the Family and Staff form. More information regarding these forms is provided in the Self-Directed Services training module titled Self-Directed Services Forms. These 3 slides contain links to resources related to self-directed services. Summary. All people have the right to live, love, learn, work, and play in their communities and go after their dreams. Person-centered plans help that happen. Person-centered plans are developed by the participant and coordinator of community services with the support of other team members. Some services require a licensed or certified DDA provider to provide the service, while some allow for a vendor or employee to provide the service. Required self-directed services forms include Participant Rights and Responsibilities, Participant Agreement, and the Family and Staff form. This ends Module 3.